While the lions drank and rested, the meerkats swiftly gathered around Musa, their face a mix of curiosity and relief. Pico hugged Musa tightly, expressing his love and gratitude for the dear friend who had once again risked his life for them and was relieved that the lions had shown mercy. Meanwhile, other meerkats rushed to help the injured Musa, collecting and applying healing plants to his wounds with careful, practiced hands. Though still in pain, Musa felt a profound sense of comfort and gratitude for their swift actions and the king's unexpected kindness. The lions of the Nightfall Pride watched with curiosity as the meerkats tended to the injured lion, their confusion evident as they witnessed such an unusual interaction. At the same time, Musa couldn't take his eyes off the king's daughter, and they frequently exchanged shy glances. Their unique appearances sparked a mutual interest. But it wasn't only Nala and Musa who were intrigued. King Atlas had also noticed Musa's striking appearance from the beginning. The young lion's white fur reminded Atlas of something more profound, something that stirred a deep sense of recognition. Deep down, Atlas felt an almost mystical connection, as if Musa were somehow a part of his own family. This enigmatic connection played a significant role in why Atlas chose to show mercy toward Musa. The king's decision was not merely a gesture of kindness, but also a reflection of the mysterious bond he felt and the secrets he was keeping to himself. After the meerkats applied healing plants to all of Musa's injuries, they formed a protective circle around him, not moving an inch away. Pico, deeply saddened by seeing his friend hurt and in pain, glared angrily at the lions who had attacked Musa, making faces at them. This display caught the attention of both the lions who had attacked Musa and King Atlas with Nala, causing them to laugh. The sight of the little meerkat's fierce protectiveness amused King Atlas and Nala, and they were touched by how much the meerkats cared for Musa, as if he were truly a part of their family. The lions, who were the target of Pico's faces, felt teased and wanted to intimidate him. However, King Atlas intervened, deciding that they had already caused enough fear and distress. After resting for some time, Musa became thirsty. With wobbly legs, he painfully stood up and approached the waterhole. The entire meerkat family, not wanting to leave his side for a moment, followed him closely. This scene caught the attention of some of the Nightfall Pride lions, who watched with amusement and chuckled as they whispered to each other. Musa calmly explained that he would be all right and that they didn't need to follow him so closely. He reassured them that they could stay back and relax. The meerkats understood and listened to Musa, except for Pico, who followed Musa to the water, imagining himself as the guardian he aspired to be. As Musa drank from the water hole, he glanced across and caught Nala's eyes. She was talking with her father and casually looking at him, as if discussing something about him. Once their conversation ended, Nala began to walk towards Musa with a mixture of friendliness and concern. Musa raised his head, and their eyes locked, creating an unexpectedly intense moment. Meanwhile, Pico, still fuming, stood next to Musa with narrowed eyes, glaring at the approaching Nala to show his displeasure. However, Nala found Pico's fierce demeanor endearing. As she stood next to Musa, she warmly smiled at him. Then she glanced at the angry-looking Pico, wet her paw, and playfully raised it above his head, letting droplets fall onto his face. Pico quickly ducked behind Musa, trying to hide his surprise and embarrassment. The sight made both Musa and Nala giggle, their smiles tinged with shyness.
You have a very cute friend. What's his name, if I may ask?
Pico felt his cheeks warm when the lioness gave him a compliment. To hide his embarrassment and act like he didn't care for her attention, he tried to look tough by puffing out his chest and scowling as if he were angry. But his attempt to look strong didn't quite work. His cheeks stayed red, and his muscles shook as he struggled to keep his chest puffed out. Musa saw Pico's funny attempt to look tough and couldn't help but smile. He noticed that Pico's serious look didn't match the way his nose twitched and how he kept glancing awkwardly at Nala.
That's Pico. He's my best friend, and as you can see, he's quite the character.
Pico? Wow, what a beautiful name you have. My name is Nala, and I'm very happy to meet you. You know, everyone in my family is talking about you, saying how strong you look. But wait, what's that redness on your cheeks? Are you blushing?
Pico's cheeks turned an even deeper shade of red as he tried to puff out his chest and adopt a heroic stance, only for it to be spoiled by his nervous fidgeting. He quietly murmured,
Me too. Very happy to meet you.
with a hint of sarcasm. Then he slightly raised his voice and said,
I don't blush. I just, don't like getting my face wet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you might be blushing. I guess it's the water that made your cheeks red.
Pico straightened up, trying to regain his composure.
No, I'm not blushing. I mean, who's blushing? Certainly not me. I, don't even know how to blush. Yeah, it's the water.
Pico gave Musa a mock stern look and squeezed his leg, as if trying to transmit a silent message. Hey, help me out here. Musa pretended to ponder Pico's squeeze.
It seems I've received an urgent message. It's telling me that Pico is actually blushing and that he's in desperate need of a good friend's support.
Pico rolled his eyes theatrically, his face a shade of red that could rival a sunset.
Great, thanks, Musa. You're really selling me out here.
Nala leaned in with a twinkle in her eye.
You know, Pico, if it makes you feel any better, I blush sometimes too. Like that time I tried to impress the other lions with the dance move and ended up tripping over my own tail. Everyone was laughing so loudly. I was as red as a tomato.
Pico's eyes widened. He wanted to share his funny story too, but then remembered he had to act tough and that he didn't want to seem too eager. So he just replied,
Yeah. Tail tripping, right? That's quite a move.
Nala understood that Pico didn't trust her and that trying to make light conversation wouldn't fix the unpleasant situation. She knew her pride had attacked Musa and hurt him badly, and she genuinely wanted to show that her family wasn't as they appeared to be. Glancing at Pico and Musa with apologetic eyes, she said,
Musa, Pico, I feel terrible about what happened. And I came here to apologize personally for my pride's behavior. They can be very impulsive sometimes, but they weren't always like this. We've been through a rough time recently, which has made us very cautious and protective of our family. When they saw you, Musa, they perceived you as a threat, and their actions were driven by that fear.
She paused, searching for the right words.
I understand how unsettling it must have been, and I'm truly sorry for the way you were treated. My pride may act harshly, but it's only because we've been struggling to keep ourselves safe. We're not always as welcoming as we'd like to be, but I hope you can see that we're trying to change that.
Nala took a deep breath, looking sincerely at both Musa and Pico.
I really hope we can start fresh. It's important to me that you both know we want to build trust and show that we are not just a pride of fear and aggression. I hope you'll give us a chance to prove that. I genuinely want to make things right and show that we're more than just our mistakes. You're different from any lions we've ever met. You stood alone to face all of us, not fearing to risk your life for your family. My father and I both really respect that. It shows that you have values that only a well-raised lion would have, and it tells me that you're not just an ordinary lion. You're a royal one.
Pico was taken aback by what Nala said. He looked at Musa with curious eyes, wondering to himself, a royal lion? What does that mean? Who really is Musa? Musa glanced down at his reflection in the water, which triggered memories of who he once was. Seeing Nala with her father and the pride he had once belonged to stirred painful recollections of his own home and family, memories of his mother and father. The hurt was deep, and he felt the weight of his past loss more acutely than ever. Nala noticed Musa's sudden silence and sensed that something profoundly painful must have happened to him. She could see that her words had reopened old wounds. With a gentle and understanding expression, she gently placed her paw on Musa's face, trying to comfort him. The warmth of the gesture jolted Musa from his painful reverie. Musa looked at Nala, feeling a rush of warmth that momentarily eased the ache inside him. He raised his head and saw the entire Nightfall Pride watching them. Their gazes filled with a curiosity. Feeling overwhelmed, Musa stepped back and looked at Nala.
You should go back to your family.
Without waiting for a reply, Musa began to walk away toward the waiting meerkats. Pico followed closely behind, his eyes filled with concern for his friend. Musa's steps were heavy, and despite his efforts to stay composed, the weight of his past and the complexity of the present moment pressed down on him. The comforting presence of Pico was a small solace as they moved away from the scene.